I'm Rebecca Johnson, the Associate Director for Science and Chief Scientist at the Smithsonian's National Museum of Natural History. Join us on a virtual tour inside Objects of Wonder, collections from the National Museum of Natural History. Here in the centre of the hall, a series of cases containing human-made items all relate to the larger idea of celebrating human creativity across time and cultures. We are part of the natural world, and objects like masks, figurines, and even books and photographs help us understand our place in it. Records of daily life and spiritual events showcase artistry, highlight shared experiences, and reveal how people view their world and imagine worlds beyond their own. The most striking object in this grouping is the 38-foot-long Shimshian housefront made of 23 wooden panels painted in striking black and red colours. It was collected from the village of Lakshwalams in British Columbia in 1875 and is one of the best examples of Northwest Coast formline design in any museum. Anthropologists who study Northwest Coast cultures compare this housefront with others to understand stylistic traditions, painting techniques, and Shimshian culture. The museum's Arctic Studies Centre works closely with Indigenous groups, universities, organisations, and government agencies to promote the welfare of Northern people and to educate the public about the history, arts, and languages of the North. In Shimshian culture, painted housefronts tell the family history of the clans who live inside. This housefront depicts the story of how the powerful undersea spirit chief Naganaks gave gifts, including his crest, the design on this housefront, to the Killer Whale clan. Members of Shimshian clans trace their heritage through the mother's line back to a common ancestor, and they have exclusive rights to the heraldic crest representing their clan. If you visit in person, you can watch different areas of the housefront light up as you listen to Shimshian artist David Boxley sing and narrate the story of how Naganaks gave his crest to the Killer Whale clan. When 4 fishermen dropped their anchor onto Naganak's underwater house and harmed a fish, the sea chief, shown in the centre of this housefront, had the men brought to him. After a year as his guests, Naganak sent them home with gifts, including his own crest, in exchange for a promise not to hurt any more sea creatures. Killer whales, also called blackfish, are Naganak's servants, and the symbols of the clan 3 of the fishermen belonged to. These killer whales are recognisable by their tail flukes, toothed mouths, and dorsal fins. Naganaks invited other supernatural chiefs to a potlatch, or gift-giving feast at his house, where he introduced them to his fishermen guests. The figures along the top represent these underwater beings. Notice their dorsal fins. Years after the original fishermen returned from their stay with Naganaks, some younger fishermen clubbed a bullhead fish and cut its mouth. The figure on the killer whale's nose may represent the bullhead with its elongated mouth. The human forms in the whale's blowholes probably represent fishermen being pulled down into Naganak's realm. This painting may depict their original capture, or the end of the story when the fishermen were pulled into the sea as punishment. Shimshian houses were built along the shore, with the painted front facing the water so people travelling by boat could identify the houses and the clans within. In the centre of the house front, between Naganak's legs, is a low doorway that forced visitors to bow when entering the house, and which also made it easier to defend against enemies trying to break in. Painted house fronts aren't as common in Shimshian culture today as they were in the late 1800s. But Shimshian communities in British Columbia and Alaska maintain their language, artistic traditions, and strong relationship with the ocean. The museum collaborates with Indigenous peoples around the world, not just those in the Arctic. The Recovering Voices program invites Native communities from all over to visit the museum collections of their heritage and partners with community members to help revitalise and sustain endangered languages and knowledge. We continue to learn from one another and share that knowledge.